Get some music on in here. Do a quick little countdown here. We are less than 10 minutes away from getting started with the show. My notes are ready. I am ready for this. Been ready for this. Had a pretty successful night last night at SWF in Our Blood. I became the #1 contender for the SWF Satsuma Valley Championship. So, may I get my title opportunity. With that sour green apple, hit. So good. I don't even know where the heck, I think my wife got my microphone. It kind of sucks. She got my mic and she hasn't put it back where it needed to be, which was with me. Oh, wait, that's right. Let's get yeah, there we go. So I do want to give this here a bit of a view, if y'all want to take a gander, while I readjust, because I just realized that my flag is upside down. So y'all pay attention to that there while I drop the flag. Let me just point that up. There we go. Now, we will have the 2-night WrestleMania event on the Shed Podcast with me, Justin, and Jimmy. The whole gang is in for the night 1 and night 2 of WrestleMania 41, which will be in Las Vegas, Nevada. Not us, we'll be here in Louisiana. But Mania is being held in Las Vegas, Nevada. I am pumped for this. It is going to be a great WrestleMania. I think it's going to be a great pre-show and post-show for both nights 1 and 2. And then with night 1, we are going to be doing a hot wing challenge and giving away the first of 2 gift baskets we're going to give away. Both we're going to do one basket on the 19th for night 1, and the second basket giveaway is going to be on April 20th, the next night for night 2, WrestleMania 41. And every 10 subs that we reach, we'll give away one piece of our merch. Gift baskets will be given away at the end of the post show on each night. So if you're with us in the pre-show for the predictions and the wing challenge during the stream and the live reactions, you'll be able to get a chance if you come back to the post show at the end of the night, after night 1 is over and after night 2 is over. Your name will be on the prize wheel for anybody who comments in the comment section during the live. And so at the end of the post show, right at the end of the post show, right before we sign off, we're going to spin that wheel. And whoever is in the room with us, from those who chatted with us in the pre-show and the post show, we're gonna spin that wheel, and if it lands on your name, we will DM you for your physical address and get y'all the gift baskets for night 1 and night 2 of WrestleMania 41. It's going to be a very exciting 2 days starting at 2 p.m. 2 p.m. till 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. So set y'all watches, set y'all invites. I will be making that event invite as soon as we go off the air tonight for the Weekend Wrestling episode 25, which will be going down in less than 4 minutes, guys. So appreciate everybody who has been following the Shed Podcast and who has been really, been with us since the beginning. And I really appreciate it. We're at 205 subscribers. We're trying to get to that 1,000 mark, man, and start gaining some sponsors and get monetized. Because any money that we make off of this goes to the Shed itself. Like the merchandise sales, the technology upgrades, basically all the merch sales and the viewership plus the monetization of the Shed podcast in the future will help us take care of upgrades to help the experience out and to better produce the Shed podcast on a weekly basis, because I will also be getting myself a desktop at home very soon. That will determine on what my merch sales are looking like for the Shed podcast. We're going to be doing a lot of upgrades in the Shed. Justin has been nonstop with getting ready for Mania 41. And it has been an experience like no other, man. I have so much fun with these podcasts with me and the boys. Like, I have a good time with the weekend wrestling, but, you know, it's that 1 month, 1 day out the month. And now it's going to be 2 days back to back. I wanted to do a subathon, and for every subscription, for every subscriber, we would add like 2 hours to the time clock, or maybe add like for every subscription we'd add an hour. So anything after 10 p.m. we would, for every subscriber, we'd run an hour past 10 p.m. Like, so one subscriber 11 p.m., two subscribers midnight, three subscribers 1 a.m. You know, even still, or hell, probably even still, maybe 30 minutes. Let's go 30 minutes per subscriber. Let's go. All right, so we're just 2 minutes away. I'm going to go ahead and share this out real fast to the Facebookers and the Instagrammers and the TikTokers and everywhere else in between. And I'm going to meet y'all in a second. Let's see. Let's see what I can do here. Nope, no posting on TikTok. Can't do that. But I can do this. All right, there we go. Sorry for the hold up there. I had to go and share that amongst the Facebookers and the Instagrammers and everyone else in between. And share the link with the TikTokers, of course. And the Snapchatters. All right, we are 30 seconds away from starting episode 25 of the Shed Podcast. I want to thank everybody who has been here with the Shed Podcast from its humble beginnings and to the future. All right, it is 7 o'clock. It is showtime. Ladies and gentlemen, wrestling fans, welcome to another episode of the Weekend Wrestling, episode 25 of the Shed Podcast. I'm your host, the Just Built Different Cody Hawkinz. Man, this has turned out to be a super interesting week in wrestling. It's starting to get better. We're building up to WrestleMania, guys. WrestleMania 41 is just a few weeks away. I am here for it. Me, Justin, and Jimmy, we're all going to be together here for the Shed Podcast, April 19th and April 20th, starting at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. Set your clocks. Make sure you're here. Make sure you're here on YouTube with the guys at the Shed for WrestleMania 41 Night 1 and Night 2 pre-show predictions and post-show. For both nights, we have 2 gift baskets we're giving away, one on the 19th, one on the 20th, and then for every 10 subscribers, we're going to give away a free piece of our merch, courtesy of Little East Creations, our primary sponsor for the Shed Podcast. And with that being said, let's get on into the news. Oh, wait, actually, no. There's more. There's actually a lot more. Let's see. We have the wing challenge, of course. We're going to do that hot wing challenge there. And then we're going to be opening, like Justin and Jimmy have been collecting up some funds to where they can buy all the little wristband replica belts that they've been selling real hot on the online with. And I've seen a lot of kids wearing them in the crowd for WWE shows. I see them on television. I see like the clips and stuff on Twitter. And there's kids wearing these title belt wristbands. And they're basically title replicas, but they go around your wrist like a gauntlet. And I want Justin and them are going to be getting a bunch of those, and we're going to be opening like a crap load of them during night 1 and night 2 of the Shed Podcasts 2-night WrestleMania 41 special, courtesy of Little East Creations. We are also looking for sponsors. Anybody who is interested in supporting the Shed Podcast, please contact us at the Shed Podcast 2024 at gmail.com with the preface or the message, the title of the message, hashtag sponsorship, sponsor the Shed. Hashtag sponsor the Shed would be what we use to kind of differentiate our emails, and we'll be able to tell who's messaging us concerning sponsorships or those who are just asking about what's the prerequisites. All right, so now we move on to the World Wrestling News. The natural disasters in WWE, Quake and Typhoon, are now the next inductees to the 2025 WWE Hall of Fame class. The late John Tugboat Tenta and Brad Ottman, along with, they're going to be joining inductees like Triple H, Michelle McCool, and as recent as Lex Luger. That was actually a surprise for me because I've always been a fan of Lex Luger, even though everybody says he was an asshole or he was a dick or anything like that. Look, the man was all about his business, and people didn't like the fact that he carried himself a certain way because he was being, he was being spoon-fed in a way, the business. And he got a little immature sometimes, but at the same time, he was also trying to keep his image up. But there's a whole bunch of things that have been said about Lex Luger, but that's beside the point. The natural disasters, Quake and Typhoon, congratulations on your induction to the 2025 class of the WWE Hall of Fame. I will see you guys at WrestleMania for that one. I'm going to watch it on TV. It's going to be so good. Now, tech investment company Silver Lake has finished its acquisition of Endeavor Group, which is the owner of TKO, which is the parent company of WWE and UFC. An official announcement was made this week as part of Silver Lake. Endeavor will be moving forward, taken private. They're going to be moving into a privately owned company. TKO will remain a publicly traded company under Silver Lake. The portfolio of talent representation business is owned by Endeavor and will be known from now on as WME Group. That is a very interesting situation right there with Silver Lake gaining that acquisition. I wonder what's going to be next on how will it affect the WWE? How much will it affect WWE? How much will it affect UFC? How much will it affect TKO and Endeavor as a whole? So who's to say? Now, in other news, unfortunately, we have witnessed, we have gotten note of the passing of world-class championship wrestling legendary commentator Bill Mercer. He passed away at the age of 99. This was confirmed this past Saturday by Mercer's family on the Dallas Morning News. He was considered the oldest living person in the wrestling business. Think about it. I don't think anybody in the wrestling business has lived to see 99 years old. I know I haven't. This man was a well-decorated sportscaster and radio TV reporter. He reported on one of his crowning moments was reporting the assassination of President John F. Kennedy for radio station KRLD. He was the first person to inform Lee Harvey Oswald that he was being charged with the murder of the president. He served as a signalman for the United States Navy during World War II. He sportscasted as commentary for the Chicago White Sox, the Texas Rangers in the 70s, the Dallas Texans in the AFL, and the Dallas Cowboys during the 60s in the NFL. He's also a member of both the Texas Sports and Radio Hall of Fames. This man had an outstanding career in the 80s, especially during the major heyday of world-class championship wrestling, highlighting the Von Erichs, the Fabulous Freebirds, and everybody else in between that helped make world-class what it was. Guys like Iceman King Parsons, guys like Manimal. There's a bunch of different talent that have come through world-class's doors and propelled themselves to become even bigger through their careers. And rest in peace, Mr. Mercer. You will always be remembered and missed by the wrestling community as being one of the oldest in the business, but as well as one of the most legendary commentaries in the history of professional wrestling. We thank you, sir. Now, moving on, I do have some TNA news. Quite a few key executives from TNA have officially left the company via a company email that was sent out this past Tuesday and would be reported by Mike Johnson. People include executive producer and head of creative Ariel Sherner, head of talent relations and Knockouts division producer Gail Kim was also released. Marketing and business development manager Rob Klingman, VP of digital operations for Anthem Sports Michael Shechenko, and let's see, the others were Karen Klert, Sebastian Destrange, Romy Glazier, and Raphael Morphy. There was let's see, Carlos Silva did make a announcement and send a quote. He said, I quote, "These decisions are always difficult, but it became apparent we needed to make adjustments to our business strategies. We are grateful for those who have worked here and thank them for their years of dedication to the company." Now, the replacements for new head of creative will be Hunter Johnson, replacing Sherner, and Tommy Dreamer will be head of talent relations as well. And this was by way, Carlos Silva, president of the Anthem Sports Group, he made this announcement to Pro Wrestling Insider. And in other news, if anybody has seen already, Saraya has parted ways with AEW this week. She revealed on Wednesday in an interview with Entertainment Weekly. She would say that she enjoyed her time with AEW, but she didn't feel that there was a spot for her or anything worth a storyline to stay with AEW. So she ended up, she announced her release pretty soon, like her departure once her contract is up, if it's not already up. And that already is starting the speculations and everything around where is Saraya gonna go. Is she gonna return to the WWE as Paige? Will she try to pursue maybe going into maybe a Joshi Federation in Japan, maybe Stardom, maybe TJPW? Even though, well, TJPW has their ties with AEW at this point. So who knows where Paige is going to end up? Hell, she might even end up at TNA. You never know, really. Also, WWE has found a permanent replacement for the spot that was filled recently by Lillian Garcia, and then before that, oh god dang it, what's homegirl? Ricochet's wife. They just recently got married, Samantha Irvin. Mark Schoenig, former in-arena host of NHL's Las Vegas Golden Knights and the NFL's Las Vegas Raiders, also the former host of ESPN's top-ranked boxing that debuted. He ended up debuting this past Friday night on SmackDown. So congratulations to Mr. Schoenig for becoming the new ring announcer moving forward for Friday Night SmackDown. And what we're going to do here is we're going to move on to the news, the results and opinions of WWE Monday Night Raw. What is it?
Would you like to know how much that problem cost?
I'll get about it. I'm live right now, but can we talk about that whenever I get off live?
$100.
Oh, great. All right. Well, moving forward, we're going to go ahead. Oh, hey, Gerald, what's going on, man? Thank you for joining us. All right. So, going into Monday Night Raw, I did have some questions about how the show was going to go on Netflix this past Monday night. This European tour that they've been doing has been pulling in sold-out crowds every single night. Even the house shows that are happening during this European tour, like the spot shows that are going down, or even post-Raw or post-SmackDown shows where they have like the little dark matches before and after, have been electrifying from beginning to end, and I'm loving every second of this, man. Monday, they had their stop in Glasgow, Scotland. You know, we're about a month away from 41, so things are really starting to go. You know, business is starting to come down, and it's starting to look good. Now, this show would open with, you know, of course, different superstars walking into the arena. They were at the Oval Hydro Theater, I think it was. Michael Cole would run down the card, went inside the stadium, seen his music hit, and bro, the booze whenever Cena's music is hitting, that means this man has accomplished in a short amount of time just how easy it is to be a heel. You know, this crowd, look, the crowd was singing John Cena sucks throughout the whole entrance, and every time he picked up that mic to his chin, that crowd just caked it on, man. Just egged it on and had it going. Now, he would say that the crowd is full of horrible people, and they were going to pay for the abuse they put him through for 25 years. Cena would go on for a little bit ranting about his relationship with the fans, and he can play them like a fiddle. He's basically going to ruin wrestling by winning the 17th championship and defeating Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 41. You know, he's really leaning heavy into this heel aspect, and I'm loving every second of it, quite honestly. This has been really good for Cena. I've been waiting for this heel turn for a hot minute now. And I'm really glad that he's done it. I think it's great. For his walk out here, for like basically his last run, for this to be his last run and being a heel, I think it's befitting. It's befitting. I mean, he started off as a heel, found out that, you know, people like a badass, ended up becoming a babyface, stayed a babyface for well over 20 years, and now is ending it as a heel. This is fun. This is great news to hear. Oh, look, and they would come with the cups. Kids are bringing them in. Thank you.
I got mine.
Survivor Series, Saturday Night Main Event. There's two more.
I have mine.
Oh, you got your money in the bank cup? Okay, good. All right, so Rhodes' music would hit after all this shooting on the crowd, and like Cena ended up walking out of the ring. This was a good one. They're let's see. American Nightmare would say he made a mistake thinking there was a difference between the old and new Cenas, and because there might be the most dangerous he has ever been now. You know, Cena would end up walking away from the ring, and basically Rhodes would tell him he will leave empty-handed at Mania 41. The promo was a little elongated, like 30 minutes, but necessary, maybe. Leaning more to the as opposed to the So at some point between now and Mania, these guys are gonna have to step away from the non-violent promos, and they're gonna have to start trading hands eventually. I'm guessing Cena's gonna have to shit on the Rhodes name in order for Cody to get mad at him enough to, you know, deck him in the jaw. So now hearing the John Cena sucks thing, that gave me a nice nostalgic kick. You know, like I say early 2010s vibes, I think, maybe, yeah, kind of, yes, no. Who's to say? You know? Oh, he did make fun of the same kid he mocked the week before, last week. Not this past Monday before last. Whenever they were in Brussels, Belgium. You know, I kind of find it funny, you know, that it's kind of ironic. He's Peacemaker. So, well, you know, it's the dude's a walking contradiction whenever it comes to character selection. So, who's to say? The Usos. Well, first it was actually a Jey Uso versus and a partner of his choosing to take on A-Town Down Under to open up the show. Ended up coming out being Jimmy Uso. So the Usos would reunite in a tag team match against A-Town Down Under, getting that win. The spots, like these boys have never missed a beat. Usos are back, baby. So great match. Usos getting the win. The crowd was kind of quiet in a few spots. You know, like it might have been the way the audience was set up for sound. You never know. You know, but the Usos would get that victory via a 1D on Austin Theory to get the pin and the win. Gunther would show up and take out Jimmy Uso before him and Jay would get into the fight. Jay would trip when he tried to hit a spear, but Jimmy saved him with a chair to send Gunther running. So it's putting some necessary shine on Jey Uso leading into WrestleMania, because we are a month away from this. We're less than a month away, and we need that momentum to stay put to where whenever WrestleMania 41 comes around, this is gonna be a great World Heavyweight Championship match between main event Jey Uso and the World's Heavyweight Champion Gunther. Now, I've been giving Gunther a lot of props because this dude is a living transformation story. Love every second of it. You know, he went from being Big Van Volta in the Indies to now being one of the most dominant professional wrestlers on the Monday Night Raw roster, and if not the entire WWE for this generation of wrestlers. I look forward to seeing a lot more of Gunther because he's already made history by becoming the single longest reigning Intercontinental Championship of all time, beating the Honky Tonk Man's record. Remember that. Now, he's setting a record being World Heavyweight Champion now. He wants to set that first major pedestal. And I think having Gunther as World Champion is a good thing for the streak's sake, for how many title defenses he's going to have before he drops this championship, and just how long in days will he be World Heavyweight Champion. Who's to say his number might be called with main event Jey Uso? Or, something else could happen. Maybe he turns heel again. Oh, my brother. So, there was a lot in that situation. I like the angle with main event Jey Uso and Gunther. I think it's great. Now, moving forward, the WWE would then air this video package of El Grande Americano. Now, Chad Gable would end up denying being under the mask in a backstage segment with the Raw GM. Mysterio and then Dragon Lee was also in that room with him. He had a doctor's note stating he was too sick to compete, little fake, that part. So Gable suggested Lee fight Americano instead. So next up, the IC championship between champion Lara Valkyria and Raquel Rodriguez. This was an amazing match for what it was worth, for the time it was worth. But at the same time, there has been a lot of questioning about Lara Valkyria being women's Intercontinental Champion. But this, of course, an occasional David versus Goliath psychology style match. Raquel being towering over Lara Valkyria. Rodriguez having the size and height advantage and strength advantage. She definitely put that on display in this match, powering over every time Lyra would have a fight from underneath. Now, the champion used her quickness, though. She used her speed and avoided and tried to counter whenever she could. There was a bit of a in the action, like maybe like the middle of the match. It kind of Like it was on that, but kind of like that, like this on the roller coaster at the bottom. Like it was like it wasn't either moving forward or backwards. It was just kind of like left in limbo for a second. My honest opinion, I hate whenever matches going like the crowd energy is in limbo because they're trying to figure out what's going on here because you can tell the difference in the storytelling whenever it comes to experience, when it comes to the experience of professional wrestlers of all ages, years of experience, as well as ring time. Ring time is a major component in being able to learn how to adapt and tell the story to where it makes sense, make it make sense. But Valkyria would end up having this match in the bag. Morgan being a good antagonist at ringside here, added some heat to the match. She didn't necessarily draw heat away from Raquel because of their ties with the Judgment Day. She played her part necessarily and very well. But Valkyria would retain the title by countering the Tahana Bomb from Raquel into a victory roll for the pin. But after that, after she would get the pin and retain, Liv Morgan would jump in, start mauling on her. The finish was a little sluggish, in my opinion, so it looked kind of weird. Now I could be wrong here, but I mean, y'all let me know what y'all thought about that. Bailey would show up to make the save, and help the women's tag champions out of the ring. Well, send the tag champions out of the ring. No, she helped them out the ring, all right. She cleared house. So, Valkyria would retain the Women's Intercontinental Championship by defeating Raquel via a victory roll from reversing the Tahana Bomb. Now, I do want to bring up there were some technical issues from Netflix and production during that match. Kind of weird, but it happens. It's TV. What was another thing that really threw me off? Oh, Valkyria's Hurricane Rana. Yeah, that Rana was slow, like somebody hit the slow mo button on the camera, I didn't get it. Like, if you're gonna do a Rana, a Rana requires speed. A good looking Rana will be fast. So, man, don't second guess it. Just do it. If you're gonna do the Rana, do the damn Rana. Don't think twice. Execute and move on to the next move. It's very simple. Very simple. I had to learn that the hard way, and learning how to pivot and learning how to handle, stress under pressure if a spot is blown. You got to be able to bounce back. Next would be, the situation concerning the women's women's world championship. Adam Pearce would come out to the ring and talk about the women's title situation. Io Sky would come out as champion, saying she's willing to fight Rhea and Bianca at the same time, make this whole thing a triple threat and give the fans what they want. But Bianca basically showed up and said she don't want Ripley to just basically meander her way into a title match. She had a title rematch, if I'm not mistaken. Now, Pierce was interrupted by a third time by Rhea. Pierce would end up booking Ripley and Io for this coming up Monday Night Raw tomorrow night for the Women's World Championship. Winner going on to defend against Belair at Mania 41. Now, all three women would start a fight, and as soon as Pierce got out the ring, a fight ensued. Big segment there, big brawl, but Bianca Belair would stand triumphant, dropping Sky on the Ripley ringside with a KOD over the top rope. This was nice. This was well coordinated and well executed by all three of these women. You're looking at the top three women on the Monday Night Raw roster, and probably like maybe top five. Those three are in the top five in all WWE right now. That's just me though. They're putting over the talent like they should. Now, sometimes the storylines are a little askew, but at the end of it all boils down to a pretty solid resolution. The payoffs have been great the last couple of years since Triple H has been running the cards and creative with WWE. His creative team has been doing an outstanding job. So, once again, good job, great job, the creative, great job, Paul Levesque. Now, Beller getting booed in this situation. Uh, she took out Ripley and EO was a little surprising, but you know, EO being over as the women's world champion is in every country basically is always a good thing to see. That was actually I wrote that I put that in quotes because that was a quote from the Bleacher Report opinion of this segment. I loved it. It was great to see. Then moving on, Dragon Lee would take on El Grande Americano. El Grande Americano. Okay, or however you want to say it. Now, crowd began doing the Ole chant as soon as it began with this match between Dragon Lee and El Grande Americano. It was great. Americano used some traditional lucha libre against Lee. Who has been basically admired for his lucha ability. It was a very physical match between these two men. I loved the hard-hitting action. The pace was pretty quick. I loved it. I honestly loved it. The feud might be a little bit on the awkward side of things, but at the same time, it's still pushing the narrative of American Made and Chad Gable. This has been funny, funny haha for the most part, but at the same time, that it's just it's slapstick to me. It is slapstick comedy. But at the same time, it's also bringing some level of reality, some level of it. Not necessarily Kurt Angle and Team Angle here, world's greatest tag team, Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin. But they've created their own little way. I'm digging what American Made's doing already as it is. The Creed brothers and Ivy Nile are awesome in their own ways. They're hard-hitting, they're technical, they have an outstanding prowess in the ring. But once again, this match right here between Americano and Dragon Lee, Americano would pull off Lee's mask and make him tap out with an ankle lock as he tried to cover his face. It was a hard-hitting, high-octane match. And if they had 5 more minutes, I swear they would probably pull out some crazier stuff. It could have been one of the best matches from the results that I pulled up for the WWE this week. And that's saying something. The mask was a bit much, though, on Americano. It kind of reminded me of Psychosis a little bit. Like Psychosis meets Jushin Thunder Liger, kinda, sorta, ish, maybe. Now, Braun Breaker and Penta for the Intercontinental Championship. That would be the main event of this. But before that, hey Justin, what's going on, Bubba? Now, before that, CM Punk would come out to the ring and give a promo about what happened with Seth and Roman on SmackDown. He went uninterrupted. Believe it or not, they gave him some mic time here. So we went to the main event next. Breaker put the men's Intercontinental Championship on the line against Penta. This was a really good match, man. This was a solid match. And for anybody coming in, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the Shed Podcast and catch me every Sunday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time for the Weekend Wrestling. And I will continue on here. Braun Breaker as champion, IC champion. I'm sorry, man. There's no stopping this dude. This dude is an absolute unit, bro. He's the son of Rick Steiner. Okay, the dog-faced gremlin has an offspring that is just as badass as he was, and still is. What am I talking about? Now, He started off this match with a gnarly ass clothesline though, bruh. Dominic and Carlito from the Judgment Day would come out to the ring to try to support Penta because they've been trying to recruit Penta into the Judgment Day, which has not been in their favor whatsoever, whatsoever. And it's something to laugh at here for a minute. Now, Penta started getting some momentum after the break. Crowd was starting to chant his name in a hold. He used a few lucha moves and had Breaker trying to recover after a destroyer. Yeah, hit a destroyer to rock Breaker in this match. Mysterio would throw and cause the, oh, we're not offering if anybody wants any past cups that we already have made, $20 a cup plus shipping. Okay, there we go. That's good news here. We are gonna have our previous PLE cups, like Survivor Series, Saturday Night Main Event, SummerSlam, Bad Blood, Crown Jewel, Elimination Chamber, even, like all of them. Money in the Bank. We didn't do a Bash in Berlin though. We didn't do that. We actually, because it was it's kind of early in the era, in the stages of the Shed podcast. And it was kind of like impromptu, so we couldn't really schedule out and do something like that because I already had something going on. And so I actually did the Weekend Wrestling with the review of Bash in Berlin because we did get to watch it. I just didn't get to go. We didn't get to go live with the pre-show and the post-show. So I put it into the week of wrestling, and it was pretty cool. It's pretty cool. But once again, all of our previous cups from our previous PLEs will be for sale. Click on the link here on YouTube, the link for our merchandise, and just ask for whatever show you want to check out, starting from SummerSlam 2024. And back to this match here with Breaker won by DQ, so he retains the championship. Penta looked really confused about why they would cost him the match, but Dom handed him the chair and told him to attack Breaker. But he attacked Dom instead. But then Balor would take out Penta, and all this would be crazy. Now, gonna post on our Discord and our Facebook tomorrow. Awesome. And I'll be sure to share it. The moment you post, I'm gonna share it as well. Now, I don't know, man. I mean, Breaker's music's all right, but he could be better. I don't know about y'all. No, I do like that spot whenever Breaker sends somebody over that table. That's a great freaking spot. I love that crap. Now, moving forward, I will go into NXT. But before we do, big shout out to Little East Creations, our primary sponsor for the Shed podcast. Speaking of which, these cups will be available for purchase. Our previous cups that we've had from our PLE shows, they are available for $20 a piece plus shipping. Just message or go to the merchandise website from the link after it's posted tomorrow if you're interested in a cup from one of our previous shows. Hell, we might even throw our signatures on it just for the heck of it. Unless you want to play, well, if you plan on using it, we'll sign the box that it comes in. How about that? Now, moving forward, going into NXT, there was like 3 championship title matches on the line here for NXT. Stephanie Vaquera was defending both the NXT Women's North American Championship as well as the NXT Women's Championship, which is the top title on the show. She ended up, she was Women's North American Champion until she beat Julia for the NXT title. It was title for title. It was an outstanding match with Vaquera getting both titles in the end. She was ready to open and close the show for those 2 titles. She opened the show with a title defense and closed the show with one. She put the North American title on the line first against Fallon Henley and then the Women's Championship against Jada Parker. Let's see. So, going with the match with Jada Parker. She hit the teardrop only for Jordan Grace to pop up on the apron. The distraction allowed Stephanie Vaquer to counter the hypnotic into a leg trap pin combination for the 3 count. So she would win via pinfall. Afterwards, Fatal Influence would come in, jump Vaquer, laying out the champion with the help of a series of running sentons from JC Jane. With the women's championship on the line in the main event, the show kind of flew by pretty quick afterwards. It was a good showcase for Parker, but Grace costing Parker the match may have protected the challenge, but it didn't make the champion look all that great. She seemed to escape with a victory rather than truly fighting at her best. So, be that as it may, Vaquer retains the women's North American title. They did start out the show with a really nice hype video for her, so I love that. She refused to quit in this match. Like, she would not falter. She would not tap out. She would not give up. Now, moving forward, there was Tyson DuPont and Tyreek Igwe against Hank and Tank with Wes Lee. Hank and Tank came out flying early on in this match, but Wes Lee kept Tyson DuPont and Tyreek Igwe on track. Lee would then distract the ref to allow a cheap shot that set the opponents to hit a combination of back suplexes and back splash for the win. This was a very, very easy match. But Wesley's been playing a good role in elevating DuPont and Igwe from their early spots in NXT. They're still not there as a group fully, but they're making that progress step for step. And they're really looking good right now. Hank and Tank, these guys look, feel, perform like they're ready to become tag team champions. The NXT Tag Team Championships do need a fresh set of faces, but we need someone that's going to be able to take out Fraxio, because it has been difficult. Has been difficult, and it is nuts that it's this difficult to get to there. Now, let's see. Oh, yes, the Heritage Cup match. Lexis King with the Heritage Cup versus Javon Evans. Now, Javon Evans would literally use his body as a weapon this entire match. Obafemi would arrive to ruin that kid's moment, though. With the referee distracted, NXT champion plants Evans with an apron powerbomb, forcing a count-out loss. Dark State arrived with the lights going dark, and then Evans and Femi brawled until Trick Williams arrived and blasted Evans with the trick knee. The new group mocked all involved and enjoying the wreckage from their spoils. Now, honestly, I'm looking at Javon Evans. This kid is insane. This kid is ridiculous. He's doing a lot of bouncy stuff. Like his music says, your boy's bouncy. The boy's bouncy, okay? He does not disappoint here. But King would defeat Evans, but with via countout due to the help of Obafemi. And still, your Heritage Cup champion, Lexis King. Now, we would also have Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson versus Tatum Paxley and Gigi Dolan. This was a nice one. It was a really unorthodox pace. In a way, it was kind of weirdly paced, but, Paxley and Dolan would catch Jackson and Legend with the Cemetery Drive for the win on this one. It was a messy match, honestly. It was a little sloppy, but, she wasn't landing like Gigi Dolan, I will say, she wasn't really landing very flush or very clean with her moves. And it just made the match kind of drag. But that's not to say that there's always room for improvement. So, take the saying, you're only as good as your last match. So, always strive to be better than your last match. And that's going to put that proper motivation and the proper key components into creating great matches. It's going to be amazing. Once they're on the same paragraph, the same sentence on the same paragraph of the same page of the same book, I think they'll be fine. But Paxley and Dolan would defeat Legend and Jackson by pinfall. This was a all right tag match. It wasn't my favorite, but also Andre Chase would take on All Ego Ethan Page. This whole Chase U thing, I haven't really been a fan of, but it's a storyline. It's telling a story. It's pushing the story along, and I mean, it's NXT. So Andre Chase, dude, with him and Ego had a good match, but he fought with a whole lot of fire against Ethan. Hesitations, like he kept stalling. And like thinking about things. Maybe he's got some thoughts in his head and it's just taking over his mind during the match. You should not be thinking about anything except for victory. There it is. Now, Ego would hit the top rope power slam into the twisted grin for the victory, getting the win. It was a good match with both of these men here involved. Chase can perform in big spots, man. He can. And Page, dude, he's just pushing the bar. He keeps raising the bar every time he steps into the ring. It's been great. Let's see. What else we had going on? Oh, yes. The Women's North American Championship. Stephanie Vaquer, a beaten down and worn down Vaquer after defending the NXT Women's Championship against Jada Parker. Yeah, this was a rough one here. Now, Fallon would focus on the ribs that they injured on Vaquer throughout the entire match. She knocked out JC Jane outside and sent Henley crashing headfirst into Jasmine Nix. And Vaquer would land the SVB, the finisher, for the win to retain the North American Championship. That is the first time in a while. Now, the last dual champion in NXT, even though nobody wants to talk about it, was Mandy Rose, or Mandy Sacramento, Mandy Sachs, or whatever you want to call her. Gorgeous, by the way, just saying. Now, if you're gonna bring up history, bring up Mandy Rose, please. Toxic Attraction was the group. Fatal Influence is basically the knockoff of Toxic Attraction. I said it. Now, they're making a name for themselves. I get it. But you're not Fatal Influence, sweetheart. Mandy was an outstanding worker. It's a shame how she was released because she did have content on Fansly and then later OF, but WWE because WWE. Because they're not going to miss out on money, but they also don't want their talent involved in content like that because spicy, very spicy. Now the review on this right here, to me, Fatal Influence would jump Vaquer afterwards until Jordan Grace would come back and make the save. Jada Parker tried to attack Grace, but was sent out of the ring quick as a flash. This show ended with Vaquer and Grace facing off at each other, where these two women right here are going to be the next big main event. I think both titles should be on the line. Vaquer versus Grace for all the marbles. Let's go. I'm here for it. Now, that will end my review for NXT. Going into Friday Night SmackDown, I'm going to take a quick break here. So please bear with me. We're going to take a short break because I'm having issues.
Three sides your car accident is worth major compensation.
There we go. Oh, there we go. I'm going to play some music here. And I'm going to take a short break before we go to Friday Night SmackDown. One moment, please.
You telling me you built a time machine? Kind of a DeLorean?
We're on NXT. I'm trying to finish up SmackDown so I get offline. What? What? All right, and we are back. We grab a quick snacky real quick. Yes, sir. Needed. Definitely needed. Oh, come on.
We're missionaries for the Church of Jesus Christ.
Really? Never mind. So, we're going to go ahead and move on to SmackDown, guys. This is the last leg of the show, so bear with me here. We're at 57 minutes. Getting this show done in under an hour and 15. Moving forward, I will be going live on TikTok to do some gaming for a couple of hours to get my hours in for the week with the agency. So, let's get this SmackDown review on and going here. Look, the O2 Arena in London has notoriously been one of the loudest arenas for WWE to come to here in the UK. And oof, this place was crazy stocked. Now, the show began with the whole, shots of the O2 on the outside before they went into the building. A couple of stars as usual. They're doing the whole, watching the superstars walk into the building prior to the show starting, things like that. Trying to get the buzz up. Oh, this guy's here. This girl's here. This man's here. This champion's here. Then they go run down the card, keeping the fans informed, keeping the viewers and listeners informed of what's gonna happen tonight. Well, that night, Friday night. Oh, and then, not to mention, the debut of the new ring announcer that would replace Lillian Garcia and Samantha Irvin. What's his name again? Hold on, here we go. I got it right here. Mr. Mark Shunock. Mr. Mark Shunock. So congratulations on your WWE debut as ring announcer for the WWE on Friday Night SmackDown. Now, the O2 Arena was lit for this one, and I was ready to watch it. I watched a lot of reviews because I missed Friday Night SmackDown, but at the same time, I was able to do like the whole highlight reel situation and just catch flash bits of each match. But I did, kind of like focus the matches to where I did a match at a time and a couple of segments here and there. So bear with me on this. Now, it took almost 10 minutes for the show. 10 minutes into the show for Cody Rhodes, whenever he came out, the crowd was chanting for Cody throughout this whole thing, doing all the little chants and songs. He barely got to say anything about his match against John Cena before Randy Orton would come out and join him. Crowd chanted, sang for Orton, just as they did for Rhodes. They would break out into chants every time they speak. This, like I said, the O2 Arena in London is one of the liveliest bunches that you'll see in the European arena scene, because it is awesome to see that kind of fan reaction, and I know the boys in the ring were loving it. It felt like a segment that should have been important, but it just wasn't really. No, but Randy would come out, say he was going to want a title shot at some point. He won't kick Rhodes below the belt like Cena did. He would look at him, you're going to look right in his eyes and tell him when he wants that. And this would bring out Drew McIntyre, of course. All they did was really recap things that have happened, and they just talked about, what's coming in the near future, which we already know what's happening here. It's pretty obvious what's happening here. Now, this felt like, McIntyre ended up really being sent out of the ring by Rhodes and Orton to end the segment, but the live crowd was having an amazing time. You cannot stop fan interaction, okay? This is an organic feeling and an organic vibe from the O2 Arena, the people of London, England, and all around the UK coming out to this show. There's a lot of love here, and it's amazing to see the fan interactions for these shows. And I look forward to a whole lot more of this leading into WrestleMania 41, which, guys, by the way, we will be live from 2 to 10 p.m. on April 19th and 20th for night 1 and night 2 of the WrestleMania weekend. We're going to be doing the we're giving away 2 gift baskets, 1 on each night. We're doing the Hot Wing Challenge on night 1, which means when we're gonna do our predictions before the show starts. We're going to stay live, but of course, you're just going to see our reactions for this. And it's going to be great. I think it's going to be a really great show. And I'm also going to be on TikTok with my phone while Justin will have the PC fired up for the Shed podcast because I'm going to be doing multiple reaction streams during the show. It's going to be great. I look forward to it. It's going to be freaking awesome. I cannot wait. Now, with the predictions, for every match we predict wrong, we have to eat a spicy wing. And every hot wing will be hotter than the previous one. So let's hope I predict properly. Because I do not want a fiery butthole. No. I do not want a fiery butthole. No. Now, moving forward here, let's not forget, like Charlotte Flair walking into this one. I did notice that. There was something I really wanted to notice about that. She was very cocky, very nonchalant getting into the arena. They really need to, I'm sorry, but I feel like they should be starting shows with matches, not promos. But to start a show with a promo, there has to be a damn good reason. Cody is undisputed WWE champion. I get it. I understand it. But at the same time, you got to take into consideration what this is building up towards post WrestleMania. Drew, Randy, Cody. Come on. For SmackDown here, this is going to be the next storyline. I think it'll be Randy and Drew locking horns a couple times. You never know. Those two might end up duking it out for a number one contendership spot. Whoever wins between them two, maybe they'll get themselves a Mania match. Yeah, I never know. But until then, you just gotta let the WWE surprise you here. Now, Randy did bring up a Cody's AEW time with AEW. He kind of nonchalantly said that one. But moving forward, the tag title match between the Street Profits defending their titles against Pretty Deadly. Now, they had that Union Jack theme gear, of course, because they're in the UK. This was a good, easy pop for Pretty Deadly because they were known in the UK as some of the top tag team wrestlers in the UK before signing with WWE UK. Before WWE UK closed its doors, they got transferred over to the States, appeared on NXT a few times, got themselves a tag strap, and then moved into Friday Night SmackDown, which was honestly not a bad move. But them being the hometown boys, of course you're going to pop the crowd at the O2 with Pretty Deadly coming out with the matching Union Jack gear. It was really cool. Now, being that the Profits won the championships recently from DIY, giving them a reign of only a couple of weeks after it took them a few years to get gold back around their waist, it would have been a very strange booking decision here. Now, the action had a pretty consistent ebb and flow, tit for tat kind of thing. I liked it. Ford and Dawkins would hit that doomsday blockbuster to get the win and retain those championships. Now, the gear was perfect for the match. Once again, I'm going to say that again because that was so cool. That was cool. The four-way collision spot kind of was great. Now, Caden Carter and Katana Chance take on Alba Fire and Piper Niven. Now, that's their first match on TV in months for Carter and Katana Chance. They tried to Alba tried to take control early with some double team offense from Carter and Chance. Would prevent that and put them on top and leave them in control of the match going into break. Now, Niven's power, though, in this match. This woman is a powerhouse. Do not sleep on Piper Niven. She is strong, and she is... Look, that girl is harder than a $2 pistol whenever it comes to impact. This was a lot of great stuff. She would hit a Samoan drop on Carter, almost ending the match, but Chelsea Green's little Hervis picked up the win. Alba Fire would get the win. Alba Fire and Niven would defeat Chance and Carter. Zelina Vega would run into the ring and make the save when the fight continued after the match, going after Chelsea Green. The numbers game was too much for Zelina Vega and ended up, pretty much laid out on the ground in the end. Yeah, pretty good there. But it was an all right match. Now, LA Knight would defend the United States Championship against Braun Strowman after helping out Strowman last week, previous Friday Night SmackDown. He ended up having to face Braun for the title this past Friday. Of course, once again, David and Goliath. Strowman showing off the power. Oh, dude. I'm so tired, y'all. It's been a long day. And I didn't really get much sleep after that title win. This segment's brought to you by Blue Chew. Just kidding, just kidding. I'm not sponsored by Blue Chew. I kind of wish I was, though. Now, Strowman would have the match in hand after the commercial break. After they came back from commercial, Strowman had the dominance throughout the whole thing. But Jacob Fatu would show up and cause a DQ, which is what happened in Fatu's match last week, which was okay. Now, using a DQ to build a story, honestly, is questionable. It makes sense, but it don't make sense. Like, make it make sense, please. For them, they actually were able to accomplish that, making it make sense. Now, I was telling guys backstage in the locker room for a match, like the guys I worked the match with, the Fatal 4-Way. Look, the finish needs to make sense. Make the finish make sense. Finish strong. Finish strong. No matter what, it's a Fatal 4-Way. The only one, even though he took the submission, but he ended up, passing out, and I got the pin regardless. Guys were trying to crawl in, and that was it. I got the pin. I'm the number one contender. Moving forward, next month in May, I will have my title shot. So let's fucking go. The match would have been a little bit longer with Strowman and LA Knight. I think it would have, it would have been a pretty big deal. But the DQ, it's like it made sense, but it didn't make sense. It was just kind of up, DQ, then. Michin would face Charlotte Flair, but Naomi would attack her from behind during the entrance, and she also attacked B-Fab, was accompanying Michin to the ring. Jade Cargill ran down to drive Naomi out and help B-Fab to the back. Charlotte would make her entrance. Michin said she was still able to compete, but was almost pinned immediately before the show went to a break. So this was a way to put some momentum on Michin by way of Charlotte Flair. Yes, Flair's working heel. She's gonna do what she's got to do in the match to put Michin over. And Michin knew when to fight from underneath, get her comebacks. But Flair would end up beating Michin by finally dominating, hitting that figure 8 to seal the deal. And I mean, yeah, I liked what was going on there. But afterwards, we would move, after what happened in the opening segment from the promo with Cody, Randy, and Drew, it became a singles match between Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre. And this would be, semi-main or main event? Now, these two, they're no strangers to each other. These guys have touched on more than one occasion, many matches. Some of them were, 10, 15, 20-minute brawlouts, and they were great matches, awesome matches between the Scottish Psychopath and the Apex Predator, the Legend Killer, Randy Orton. Speaking of Legend Killer, wait till I get to the end of this. Now, Kevin Owens would end up interrupting this match, not even 10 minutes in. But it gave advantage to Drew McIntyre, who would hit the Claymore for the pin and the victory. Now, Kevin Owens would try to continue that attack, but ended up having to flee through the crowd after Randy Orton would turn the tables on him on the outside. Owens was trying to hit him with that power bomb. Orton would counter, give the leg trip. Seeing Kevin get on all fours, he saw the opportunity, started backing up, lining up for that punt. He wants to punt Kevin's head in, and this is great. Now, once he made the charge, Kevin would hop over the barricades, and you'd have referees and security and producers out to keep Randy Orton from going after Kevin with that punt. Now, I mean, if honestly, the match with Orton and Drew, they always have pulled great chemistry in their matches. And I love that. I freaking love it. I don't mind it. I'm actually for it 110%. I would love those kind of matches more often on my television. But me, compared to everybody else, everybody's got their something. Everybody's got their niche, their penchant for professional wrestling. And I'm not going to judge anybody's taste. You know, I like to be able to voice my opinion here on how things are going in the WWE. And this right here, this storyline, I love it. Now, moving forward, the main event would be Jimmy Uso versus The Miz. There was a segment earlier in the show, Jimmy Uso challenging The Miz to meet him in a singles match for SmackDown. Jimmy would start taking The Miz to class here and keeping that offense on him through the break, putting The Miz over the barricade into the timekeeper's area. You know, Miz would finally catch that dirty lick and get the control back going, you know, after the commercial. But Jimmy Uso would get the victory via the Uso Splash. A solid match here, but I did notice that Miz did not have Carmelo Hayes in his corner in this one, you know, because you know they kind of like buddy, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now, that was actually an interesting fact that Joe Tessitore let out a little fun fact that Jimmy Uso had more matches than anyone else on the main roster so far this year. Now. Oof. Another thing, those yes kicks, or the it kicks. It was the it kicks, he called them, but the crowds would always say yes. You know, something that Daniel Bryan, but Bryan Danielson, let's just say it, the yes kicks. Now, this was a solid show. Solid Friday Night SmackDown. Once again, I did not like the fact that we started off with a promo on SmackDown. They've been doing that a lot lately on SmackDown, starting off with promos. But I feel like they should at least have the crowd riled up for like maybe a match, 10, 15 minutes. Then get the promo out. Warm that crowd up. You know, get a measuring stick of what that crowd's gonna be like for that match. Make sure it's a great curtain jerk to where whenever you move into the promo, the crowd's already feeling the good from the match. It'll get them ready for what's up next, and that would be the promo. But everybody runs the show a little bit differently. You know, they're not always gonna run cookie cutter style. And that's what I like about it. That's the thing. I'm not gonna knock them too much for doing the promo to start off Friday Night SmackDown, which they've done that a lot lately. But it does kind of break you away from the norms and puts emphasis on that primary storyline, especially with Roman Reigns. It's gonna be great though. It's gonna be great. I know it's gonna be great. You know, Punk is getting his match with Roman and Seth. You know, so let's go. You know, they're gonna be in the main event. The closing match of WrestleMania. Was it night 1? Is it? Yeah? Or is it night 2? I think according to the promo he said he's closing Mania. Punk, Roman, and Rollins. Damn, I can't talk. But that's gonna close it up for me. I'm really glad that people came in and checked it out. I appreciate the one like up there. Be sure to like, share, subscribe. Tune in next Sunday. We're moving forward. I think we're going to start at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time as opposed to 6. this will be a permanent change moving forward with the Shed podcast with the Weekend Wrestling. Now, PLEs, we're going to run PLE schedule as always. We're going to run about 2 hours before the PLE starts. That goes for the pay-per-view for the PLE for WrestleMania 41. These 2 days, 19th, 20th, right here, these 2 days, 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. Hopefully, we see everybody there having that WrestleMania 41 basket in the Hot Wing Challenge night 1, night 2, basket giveaway and a chill night to where we can kind of recover from all them hot ass wings. That's gonna suck. But anyway, thank you to our sponsors at Little East Creations. Click the link in the bio to check out our merch. We have new merch available. We are offering almost all of the cups here that we have started. This is just a handful of them. Like, look, that was our first show, SummerSlam. SummerSlam was our very first show. Then we moved into Bad Blood. We didn't do Bash in Berlin, but we also did Saturday Night's Main Event, Survivor Series, Crown Jewel, look, Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber. We've been doing a lot of cups. So all of these cups will be available if you click on the link for our merchandise and request the cup with the PLE title in the queue. Once again, thanks to Little East Creations for being our primary sponsor of the Shed podcast. We look forward to seeing y'all next week, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, here on YouTube for the Shed podcast. Y'all have a great night.